Are you a man or are you are living behind a mask? This is real self-reflection for men to diagnose and dominate or just decay as an average, ordinary little schlub. What's up, freaks? Welcome to another episode of the Steve Eckert Show podcast. And today we are talking about what a lot of men might usually try to hide from, and that is just real self-reflection for men. Because most men will lie to everyone around them, but the biggest lie is the one they tell themselves every morning in the freaking mirror. And we're going to dive into this. It's you need to have self-reflection as a man. You either diagnose the bullshit or you are going to decay. Identifying your personal flaws or weak lack of systems that you're living on. And we call it the mirror test. Like, are you a man or are living behind a mask? This is real self-reflection for men to diagnose and dominate or just decay as an average, ordinary little schlub. And you need to diagnose the brutal bullshit and brutal truth and start having some self-accountability, because the mirror doesn't freaking lie. It's time for either self-reflection or self-destruction. You choose, motherfucker. Like, this is why men stay stuck. They don't want to reflect. They don't want to hear the shit they don't want to hear. They only want to hear what they want to hear, not what they fucking need to hear. And that's why they stay stuck. They're afraid to reflect, afraid to answer the tough questions, have the tough conversations. Reflection is a weapon and avoidance is just decay. It's time to look in the freaking mirror or die a bullshitter. It's time to own it or just rot away as a decaying freaking man. Because men who reflect rise and elevate and get better. And men who avoid just fade out into oblivion and decay. It's time for no more freaking blind spots. And that's what we're going to talk about today on the Steve Eckert Show. We're going to rip off the freaking mask and force you to confront the man you've been avoiding. And that's yourself. Most men are stuck not because they don't have the tools, but because they stopped telling themselves the truth. This episode is about raw and aggressive deep dive into real self-reflection for men, not some sugar-coated bullshit, the kind you read about in your little self-help motivational guru books. We're going to dive into some brutal truths about manhood today, about, like I said, that mirror test, about the life you're tolerating instead of dominating, the lies you're telling yourself about isolation and the whole lone wolf, your addiction to dopamine over freaking discipline. And we're going to break down different levels of masculinity that tie into the different seasons as a husband, a father, a leader, and a man. Now, why does this shit matter? It fucking matters because you can't lead your family or scale your business or create your freaking legacy until you dominate yourself. And the only way to do that is to reflect. The only way to get better every day, which is the path towards self-mastery, is to have self-reflection on a regular basis. This is your fucking wake-up call. No more pretending, no more hiding out, no more justifying your bullshit, no more motherfucking excuses. It's time to look at yourself in the eye and ask, am I really the man that I say I am, that I act like I am, that I think I am? And if the answer is no, you need to do something about it. One thing you can do about it is show up to something like the No Excuses experience that we have here, Execution by Elevation, a in-person personal discipline and development live event for men, the No Excuse experience, or join the Freak Father Alliance, which is a men's mentorship group coaching program. If you want information on any of those, just put a message down below. But if the answer is no to those questions, that am I really the man I say and think I am and act like I am? It's time to have some fucking new standards. The most dangerous type of man is the one who can't look at himself in the eye in the freaking mirror. When's the last time you stood there and just looked at yourself? Didn't flinch, didn't justify your bullshit, didn't make excuses for your gut. or your flabbery chest. Didn't explain away your mediocrity and make excuses. Start right there, like literally a visual check, a test. That's a first. We talk about self-reflection, and yeah, we could talk about journaling and all, but let's start right from the straightforward, the easy one, and work our way from the outside in. Like, what do you make an excuse for? What are you justifying when you see what you see when you look at yourself? That's the first place to start. Then we need to go into, where are you dominating versus tolerating? Most men are just tolerating their marriage, tolerating their job, tolerating their gut and their weight, tolerating their routines and their discipline, tolerating their success and their bank account and just their life overall in general. And very few men are dominating their time, their thoughts, their health, their home, and their motherfucking mission and meaning as a man. So I want to ask you this question, and if you have to pause this to go and write it out or think about it or whatever, or get to it later, but what in your life are you tolerating that you were called to dominate? You know you should be dominating as a man, but you're just tolerating. What is that for you? Then the next step of this is the isolation deception, that we think we could do shit all on our own. We think we could be the lone wolf. Isolation is the enemy's favorite tool to get you away from other men. You're much easier to conquer when you're by yourself. People think the term divide and conquer, like when they have a team and they need to get multiple things done, and then one person goes and deals with one thing, one parent deals with one thing, another parent deals with another, or one team member and another team member, and they call it divide and conquer. That's not the real term of divide and conquer as far as I know it and learned it. Divide and conquer is, if you want to conquer the enemy, you divide them. Divide and then go and conquer. It's reversed. You have to invert that whole idea. That's how you break the enemy, is to divide and conquer. So when you're dividing, you're not conquering. You're getting conquered. Because isolation is the enemy's favorite freaking tool, because it's much easier to take you down when you're by yourself, when you don't have your fucking homies there with you to have your back. But men convince themselves all the time, oh, I'll figure this out alone. I just need a little more time. I just have to wait a little more. I have to wait till conditions are perfect. Or no one understands what I'm dealing with. No one, like, bullshit. You're not the first, you're not the last, motherfucker. Men don't rise alone to success. Kings were made in brotherhood. Warriors were built in freaking tribes. Success and sanity require a circle of savages who will call you out on your bullshit and refuse to let you slow down and make excuses and fucking fail. And that's the way I run all of my men's coaching programs, whether it's the one-on-one, the group, or the in-person live events, the no excuse experience. It's not just about training. It's an alliance. It's accountability. It's co-dominating. That's what an alliance and a brotherhood is. The next thing is, when we're talking about this whole concept of tolerating and self-reflection and not self-reflecting enough, is you need to have discipline over your dopamine. And most men have that upside down. It's always dopamine over the freaking discipline. Most modern men are dopamine freaking junkies, seeking that next freaking hit in their veins from scrolling the internet or YouTube or fucking TikTok and whatever other vices they have, and their alcohol and weed and all this other shit, and Netflix, or even validation from other people or fame and fortune. Like, we just need that next hit of dopamine, but dopamine doesn't build fucking men and empires and success and bank accounts. Motherfucking discipline does. Every decision is either a decision of dopamine or a decision of discipline. You decide. The decision of dopamine versus discipline. Some deep shit right there when you fucking break it down as simple as that. One gives a quick hit, the other gives you a powerful freaking life as a husband, a father, a leader, and a man. It's time to reprogram your freaking nervous system for delayed gratification with daily execution, so you can dominate in these areas of life. Because there's different levels of this growth, these seasons of masculine growth. We've done another episode in the past about hunger to harvest, where we had the 4 seasons of life as in business and life. And it was the hunger stage was the bottom, the rock bottom. Then there was the hope stage. And there was the harvest stage, and then the hinder stage, and things start going downhill. It's very similar to having really the rock bottom survival stage where you're just trying to make it through the day and you're reactive and have a scarcity mindset. Then you start having a little success. You're doing well, but you're still not there. You're starting to get it. You're starting to break out of the plateau, but you know there's more in the tank. That success stage leading to the significance stage where you're building a legacy. You're leading and you're finally living fully aligned and disciplined and fucking dangerous. But there's always that stagnation stage, and it goes in that order. You start at significance to stagnation to survival, back to some success. Because success, you see, is not the top. The significance is the top. The success leads to the significance. But then it always comes to stagnation. It's always going to flow in that order. That stagnation is the hinder phase that happens. So let's reverse engineer it. Start off so that success stage. This is where, the significant stage is where the final evolution, where you move from what you do to actually who you are and who it impacts, your legacy and leadership and fatherhood and faith, building others and not just building yourself. That's where this self-reflection leads to, where you become a freaking force. So you have to reflect on, all right, which one of those seasons or stages are you in? Because the huge one that most men get in that stagnation stage, that hinder stage, and they get stuck there and it leads to rock bottom. It's kind of where the pit before the climb, the downward spiral stagnation where you get stuck physically and mentally and emotionally. And it's not necessarily failing, but it's starting to flatline. It's starting to get complacent. It's starting to lose shit. You're just surviving, but there's no direction and you're losing it. And you're not living up to your potential. You're not where you need to be because you stopped reflecting to stay in that significance stage. And you start drifting and you start meandering. You're busy but unproductive. You're comfortable but unfulfilled. You're surrounded but disconnected. You're capable but just passive. This is where many men spend fucking years of their entire life, even decades, is because stagnation feels safer than struggle. So they'll just be treading water because they're afraid of that rock bottom. But you can't have that loop back up to the significance, that harvest stage, until you do that. You have to have constant self-reflection to see, all right, where am I at? What do I need to do to get out of this stage? What got me into this stage? How do I get to the next stage? What's next? So I'm not just always in survival mode, which is the bottom where you just wake up and you're just fighting and you need to get back to that significant stage. And the only way to do that is through self-reflection. Stagnation's a slow death of unrealized potential. And that's where most men get stuck because they're not self-reflecting. We spent the most on the stagnation stage because that's where they are. It's a silent enemy that just drags you down little by little, piece by piece, day by day. And it's what you have to break through before you fight to survive and succeed and ultimately have that high level of freaking significance. So what level are you in right now? And how long have you been stuck there? And what's causing you? That's what self-reflection is. The real, deep, dark, brutally honest freaking truth. Now, let me ask you, what's the cost of staying in that same season for too long or for an extra year? That's why even though we have the group coaching program online with Zoom, we have every 3-4 months the no excuses experience to kind of, in case anyone's starting to get into that stagnation stage, we're going to get in person and we're going to knock that shit out of you. In person, elevation by execution, learning by doing. And it needs to happen all the time, regularly throughout the day. Every decision, again, you're either making a discernment or decaying. You need to face the truth in the freaking mirror, or you become the man who hides from it and makes excuses for it and eventually gets fucking buried by it because you're too afraid of the answers. You're too afraid of the freaking truth. You're too afraid to have that self-reflection. The world doesn't need more motivated men. It needs men who aren't bullshitting themselves. Brutally, ruthlessly honest men. Start with yourself. Because if you won't call yourself out, guess what? Life will freaking call you out. So it's time to start living according to this framework, this mirror test we're talking about. The thought of tolerating instead of dominating. Getting out of that isolation. Start choosing discipline over dopamine, because everything is a decision for discipline over dopamine. And then those different levels of growth, of the masculine growth that we're talking about, and live in that zone of significance. Get back to it. The only way to do this is to regularly self-reflect. If you need help with that, in the Freak Father Alliance, we literally have 7-day interaction and accountability where you are reporting back to me and the rest of the group with a quick journaling drill we call a daily debrief. Every day, 7 days a week, we're having accountability and interaction and connection to help hold you accountable, to keep you online, to work on the real deep, dark, vulnerable self-reflection inside the Freak Father Alliance, a men's mentorship group coaching program. So if you want information about that, you want this next level of self-mastery and accountability and discipline and development, just put a message down below. I'll tell you all about the Freak Father Alliance. We will show you what real self-reflection as a man looks like, so you can start dominating in your mindset, your family, your fitness, and your business, and every area of life. And that's what we do in the Freak Father Alliance. So put a message down below if you need that. I want to hear about you. What are you doing for self-reflection? Where are you letting it slip through the cracks? Put the comments and the message down below. And I will see you next time on the Steve Eckert Show podcast. In case no one told you yet today, you are freaking awesome. No excuses.